Hi everyone, this will be a Rambly Fude haul video. I'm not going to go into depth about the brushes because I can always do a review on any of these later on. I just want to show you them and let you guys see like how they look and what my first impressions are. So to start off, I'm going to pick up this Shiseido powder brush right here and show you how it looks like on the side. Flares out quite a bit like this. The squirrel hair quality is nowhere as excuse me, nowhere as high as say the Chikuhodo Z series or like Koyudo Gray Squirrel, but you know, you get what you pay for. This brush is it costs a lot less than those brushes, and I do really like this brush. It's how do I explain it? It's very dense, but it's also kind of airy at the same time. And then the hairs are, you know, as you can see, they're kind of crazy on the outer layers, and they're sort of wavy too. So that's how it looks like. And I do like this brush a lot. I tried it with setting powder actually. Like, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I just wanted to get like a lower quality squirrel brush and set my face with it and see how it would work, and this worked out really excellently. Not only was I able to like set my face, but it actually didn't pick up the tackiness from my base, because usually the higher quality hairs for squirrel, they'll just pick up any part of the base and then it'll end up like getting tacky, and it kind of grosses me out. So I'm really glad that this brush didn't do that at all. So I highly recommend this if you're on a budget and you want to try a squirrel brush but you don't know which one, or yeah, so I do recommend this. And then the blush brush, feels like it feels less soft than the powder brush, and it's got more. So the powder brush is more flexible. It's like, I would say, I wouldn't necessarily call it flimsy, but if you were to compare it with the blush brush, it feels flimsier and it's more airy. But the blush brush it's like more densely packed, it's firmer, and it's also very small for a blush brush. If I compare it to this, which is also a blush brush, you can see how small it is. And my voice is like being weird today, but yeah, it's a pinched ferrule. It's like flattened, kind of like a flattened oval. Both of them are kind of flat on the side. Doesn't flare out as much as the powder brush. And the bundle on this particular brush is not very good. I'm not sure if you can see, but in the middle, it looks like there's how do I explain it? Just like an indent of some sort. Like they're just missing a little bit of hair here, or it kind of looks cut or something. Like, it's just not a very good bundle, and it applied my blush kind of patchy. So I actually don't recommend this one. But if you were to try any Shiseido brush that's not the foundation brush, I would recommend the powder brush. I haven't tried the foundation brush yet, but I've heard a lot of good reviews about it. Like, a lot of people like it. And then, okay, let's get to the Hakuhodo B507. This is I think it's labeled as a cheek brush. It definitely is like within the cheek size range. And I got the one with the long champagne handle. Apparently they do that in Hakuhodo in Japan now. So I think it's only the big boutiques that have these handle sizes. So like the Aoyama boutique in Tokyo and the Kyoto boutique. I think these are the only ones, because my friend had to order it from, she went to like a counter in a department store and they had to order the brushes for her. So not so sure about the specifics, but I think that's how it worked, because last year when I went to a bunch of counters, I didn't see any of the long champagne gold handles, but you know, who knows, they could have had it in the back. Anyways, yeah, this is a wonderful brush. It's very airy. Okay, very is not the right word. It's it's fluffy. So on the Japanese website, it's described as fua fua, which means like fluffy. And it's kind of airy. It's not like, at first I thought it would be very dense, and while it is kind of densely packed together, it's more airy and fluffy. And it just, I tried it for bronzer and it works really well for that. I love this brush. This is not a size that I would typically, or a shape, sorry. This is not a shape that I would typically go for, because I don't know, like, I'm not a fan of like flat shapes, but I've decided, you know, I have so many round brushes, I'm gonna I'm gonna continue to like broaden my horizons with different brush shapes that I'm not that familiar with. And I was really surprised by this. I love this brush so much, so I highly recommend this one. And then next is another brush shape that I normally wouldn't buy. This is the Hakuhodo G5545. This is basically like, if you remember the B505 in one of my other videos, this is the same shape as the B505, but it's like half the density. So that brush is extremely dense. This is like maybe like half or like 1/3 of the density. It's nowhere as dense. And these salt and pepper hairs, oh yeah, okay, so I forgot to say that the salt and pepper hairs are the undyed equivalents of the old dyed hair mixes. So let's say like squirrel combined with goat, or squirrel combined with horse. Like those types of hairs from Hakuhodo used to be dyed, and now they are no longer dyed. They rolled out these brushes last year, and they also increased the prices, which is unfortunate because like no one wants to pay more, right? But there is a difference in softness. So I've owned both the dyed counterparts and the undyed counterparts now, or not the counterparts, but like I'm saying I've owned like the dyed brushes, or the dyed versions, and now I have like the undyed ones as well. And when I felt these brushes in the store last year, like on the back of my hand, like I couldn't really tell a difference. They felt kind of the same to me. For squirrel and goat combinations, they basically felt the same. But the horse and squirrel combinations, I could feel like a little bit of difference on my hand at least. And then I tried the G511 from Hakuhodo recently. Okay, that is not in this video, but I will include it in one of my videos later on. Anyways, I tried that brush, the new undyed one, and it was so soft. It's like seriously like super soft, so it just made me want to buy more. And yeah, I can tell a difference on my face. I can't really tell a difference on the back of my dry ass hand as usual. But yes, this is such a great blush brush. I used it with the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush the other day, and normally like for these types of brushes, these hairs, I would just use them with softer pressed blushes, but I wanted to see how it would perform with a hard pressed blush, and it turned out really well actually. Like I wasn't so sure about the shape either, because I like targeted blush nowadays, and I thought it might have been too big, but it's actually like it works really well, and it felt very pampering, and I haven't felt pampered by a brush in a very long time, and that says something, because I have so many brushes, and I keep buying and buying, and like I just go through so many brushes, and you know, like it's every time I use one, it's just like, oh, I'm just using another brush. Like I don't really feel that excited, or not, it's not that I don't feel excited, it's that I don't really feel that like pampered, or that I'm like receiving some sort of treatment or anything by a brush. And this is the one that made me feel like that, and I think it's because of the hair combination, like the hair mix. It's just so soft on the face. Okay, so yeah, needless to say, I just recommend all of their undyed hair mixes. This is the G503. It's the goat. No. Is it the goat? It's the goat and the horse. Wait, the squirrel and the horse mix. Okay, I am mixing them up now. I'm sorry. Okay, it's the goat and the squirrel. I'm pretty sure it's goat and squirrel. Because my G503 is squirrel and horse. Yep. Okay, so this is a lot larger and denser than the G504. And I'm mixing up numbers now too. I seriously should, I need a brush labeler. Anyways, yeah, so it's larger than the other brush that I use for contour. And this one is pretty nice. It's more flexible. And since it's like denser and more flexible and larger, like I would not really use this for contour. I actually prefer this for blush, and it applies blush really well because I can just apply it and blend it out. And then I got two Takeda brushes. I got the, what is this? The 19 SOVEXS. Their name's right. They're like really even harder to remember than Hakuhodo. So this is basically the larger version of the 16 SOV I got in Japan last year, and that one is just like a little bit smaller. It's less flared out. And the EXS hair from Takeda is super soft, but I feel like the more recent brushes I got from them are less soft than the one I got last year, so that's a pity. This one I'm not really sure what I'm going to use it for. It's I think the bundling is not that great for this brush because the top part or the front part right here seems to have a longer gradient, and then the back has like a shorter gradient. I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel that Takeda has the best bundling amongst the Fude brands, but yeah. Next is this one I engraved and I customized the ferrule on the handle, but it's the 16 ROV EXS, which is already in their EXS line. And so the EXS line normally has these pink handles. So if you want to customize it, all you have to do is like tell them, you know, what ferrule and handle color you want, and if you want anything engraved, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, eventually I'm hoping to make a Takeda video. Anyways, this is, I don't know, they're both labeled as like cheek brushes, and the 19 one on the left is labeled as like a cheek and powder brush, but the 16 I'm holding right here is, let's see, I feel like I already knew this, but the hairs are really long. Like for a cheek brush, they're very long, and that would be okay if the brush was either like less dense or more dense. And the issue with this is that it's kind of got like medium to low density. So when you put it on your face, I don't know, it just like, it flares out too much for my liking. And it actually makes a better powder brush than a blush brush, and that's really disappointing to me because I was really looking forward to this particular brush. And then I got the Chikuhodo Takumi T1. I finally I basically completed the set because I sold my T7. I hated it so much, but yeah, this is an oval shaped powder brush. Pretty soft, yep. And then I have a few more brushes. Let me just move these up, and I'll show you these in here because I'm getting tired. Okay, so this is the Tanseido YAQ17. And Y stands for long, AQ stands for red squirrel, 17 I think 17 is like the ferrule size or something, or the hair like I think it's like ferrule size. But this is a red squirrel from Tanseido. It doesn't feel nearly as delicate or fragile as the Chikuhodo red squirrel blush brush that I once had. And the shape is like really, I don't know. I feel like it was not bundled that nicely compared to the other ones I've seen on Instagram and online. But I tried it out for a gold highlight today, like a Wet n Wild highlight, and it applied nicely, but then like the shape is really weird because it's like so flat, but it's also like kind of flared out at the same time. So yeah, I don't know. And then I wanted to try the MAC 137 because this is the equivalent to the Hakuhodo G5537, and I have the G5538 that I love a lot already. So I wanted to try, like, even though I don't really like MAC, and I haven't bought any MAC brushes in years, I just wanted to try this one out. And it's actually really nice. So the only con I have about this brush is that it shed a few hairs, and it's not like, you know, normally when you use a brush, like from my Takeda at least, it was shedding on my face as I was using it. It shed like, no wait, I think it shed like 2 hairs. And then, okay, I also wanted to mention that the bundling sucks to the point where like some hairs are like longer than others. It's hard to see. But the MAC, it shed onto the floor as I was using it, and that was really weird for me because that was like the first time I experienced like just straight up, like, it wasn't even like a long piece of hair, it was just like short pieces of hair like shedding onto the floor, and it was like 3 pieces, but still. Anyways, I didn't think it was that soft when I first got it, but then I compared it to my G5538, and they're around the same softness. This is also made in Japan, so I'm guessing that Hakuhodo still makes some of MAC's brushes, and just some of them in particular, like this one, because Hakuhodo has their own version of it. And yeah, I don't know, like if you don't want to order from Hakuhodo, or you know, like you don't have access to ordering from them, or for whatever reason, you can also always try out the MAC 137. And then I got the MAC 242. Okay, excuse the talking in the background. This is the 242, and everyone's talked about this for years, so it's been on my wish list forever, and I love this brush. Like, it's, I don't know, but something about it, even though it's just like a flat synthetic brush that, you know, it looks like a concealer brush, but it picks up like glitter so well. And then there is a little bit of fallout for like metallic shades and like ColourPop Super Shock metallic shades, but I do really like it. And I don't think Hakuhodo has their like own equivalent to this. They may. I'll have to look that up after this video, but I do really like this, so I recommend it. And lastly, I got the new, or okay, I got a new MAC 239 because there is nothing that can beat the 239 in terms of like packing on lid color for me. The old one's on the right, and it is really different. If you can see, the old one on the right is denser. It's a lot denser, and the shapes are different too. So the old one is more squared, and the new one is more rounded. So it is a pity, but the new one is a lot softer than my old one. I think because I've been using the old one for years, and I've been washing it with like MAC brush cleaner because, I don't know, that was just the only thing I had back then, or I thought I was supposed to use MAC brush cleaner with MAC brushes, but no, MAC brush cleaner actually has alcohol in it, which makes the hair like less soft over time because it dries it out. Anyways, I think the new one it reminds me of the Hakuhodo J004G, like, except like less thin. It's a little denser than that one. Okay, thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.